There we go. All right, a couple more people coming in. All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Aaron Wills. I want to welcome all of you to the Intro to Mortgage Origination. We'll call it a meeting, if you will. Again, Aaron here. I'm the CEO of a national company called My Mortgage Trainer. And I like to think that we are responsible for changing people's lives, kind of one person at a time, if you will. And that's kind of what I think our responsibility is in the world at this point. But I'll give you some quick meeting details so we can kind of get going, because I don't want to take too much of your time. But first off, again, this is a live meeting. So I am here right now with you, right? It's a live meeting with real people from all over the United States that are participating in this event. That being said, you guys do have the ability to turn your cameras on. So again, don't be shy. If you can turn your camera on, that'd be great. We'd like to see you. You'll also have access to your microphone at some point in time. Right now, we've got everybody muted. And that's just in case like the dog barks in the background or something like that, because that kind of messes things up. Or if you got a little bit of noise around you, it keeps things a little bit more clear for you guys. And so you have access again to turn your camera on and off, as do I. And of course, we can turn your sound off and on. And at some point in time, we'll allow you guys to ask some questions of us, which we're going to encourage. So as you have a question, we'll turn your microphone on so everybody can hear your question, because I'll bet you somebody else has the same question as you. So we'll do that. As I previously mentioned, there's a chat feature on the bottom right-hand side, which I'll leave up during the entire time of this meeting. That will allow you guys to post comments or questions. And then once I get to a good spot, I can kind of turn mics on for those live questions, and we'll do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And Brian, if you've got some other people trying to jump in, if you can help me out on your end, that would be awesome. But
okay,
as it is, I'm just going to go ahead and get going.
okay.
Okay, so you guys are here because you likely responded to one of our ads for employment as a mortgage loan originator, which, by the way, we call it an MLO for short, MLO. So, and we like to do these meetings because usually there are a lot of questions that we can help answer, out of the gate about becoming a mortgage loan originator, especially the ones that are associated with how much money can I make? Because that's kind of the big important question, right? So ultimately, my goal here is to provide you guys with what an originator does, how they develop business, how you actually become a mortgage originator, and then lastly, answering that ever important question, Aaron, how much money can I make as a mortgage originator? So that's kind of what we'll do today. And I think it makes sense to give you guys my short story as a starting point on how I got into the industry and what it's done for me. And I like to do this because I feel like some of you might be in a similar place in your life, and you can kind of relate, if you can't, if you will, to, kind of needing to find a good career that can make you a lot of money and therefore make, life a heck of a lot easier. So me personally, I'm originally from San Diego, California. I grew up lower middle class in Indiana, actually, with 5 other siblings in our house. And, I knew my parents couldn't really afford to send me to college. And frankly, I wasn't really sure I was quite ready or even college material to begin with. But so while I was in high school, I completed 4 years of Army ROTC, and I graduated with the officer rank of major. And because I would say I really enjoyed the camaraderie, I decided, you know what, I should probably serve my country on a full-time basis. And so I joined the active Army fresh out of high school. I was 17 years old. I actually had my birthday, my 18th birthday, while I was in basic training. And just so you know, the other gentleman that you see on the screen right now, that is Brian Robinson. He works with me. And Brian also is a U.S. Army veteran as well. And both of us served in the U.S. infantry. That's right. We were grunts. That means we can carry a really heavy pack a long way and shoot you when we get there.
Very, very true. Very true.
Yeah. So, and I don't know, probably like Brian too, man, I was all in. We actually served at the exact same time. I was all in. I'm sure he was all in. I was drinking the Kool-Aid, as they say, because I wanted to be, what was the motto back there, Brian? It was be all you could be, right?
Well, our motto was, we do it all.
Oh, yeah. But they were selling us on be all you can be, right? So
Exactly.
for me personally, you guys, I ended up in again, 7th Infantry Division, Fort Ord, California. I got assigned to an artillery unit as their 60 gunner on an air assault team. And that's where I learned how to rappel out of perfectly good helicopters for a living to pull ground support for my unit. Now, the unfortunate thing is, you guys, Guess what? My Army career cut short. Why? Because like everybody in the infantry, your body gets beat up. I got injured. I'll spare you the gory details, but all of a sudden, check this out. I'm 20 years old. I'm being medically discharged from the Army. And to make matters even more challenging, I just found out that 3 months prior to this happening that I was soon going to be a father. I mean, you guys talk about freaking out. I mean, how the heck am I supposed to use my current battle skill sets in the real world, right? Like I joke with Brian, I'm like, it's not like when we got out, Microsoft had an opening in their office infantry department, because they don't have that. So the fact is, you guys, I had to hit the ground running, no excuses. I had to find a way to support my family. I had to find a career. And I didn't have that luxury of 4 or 5 years to go to school while I racked up a bunch of debt and brought in zero income. Because the fact is, and some of you can probably relate to this, babies need things, lots of things. And love alone doesn't buy those things. And again, probably some of you guys can relate to that. So fortunately, here's the thing. I was lucky enough to be introduced to someone who saw the fire in me, someone who noticed that I had the drive to succeed and a real reason to make something happen like right now. All I really needed was a shot. So this person took me under their wing. They showed me how to succeed in this fascinating industry known as the mortgage industry. And I learned how to, help others get what they wanted, for example, like buying their first home. And it really gave me a sense of purpose. And again, fortunately, I didn't need a degree to get into this job. And if you guys don't have a degree, don't worry about it. You don't need one either. In fact, all you need was the same 3 things that I needed, right, to be a success. And here's the 3 things that I look at. It's like, number 1, you got to have a desire to help others get what they want. Number 2, you have to have a desire to make a fantastic living in the process. And number 3, you got to have some basic math skills. No algebra, nothing like that. Don't worry about it. So, here I am, 20 plus years later, and now I am able to take this knowledge, which I've turned into a lifelong passion, and I get to share it with others like you. I literally train, tens of thousands of mortgage loan originators every single year. So I tend to think of it as kind of a pay it forward type gesture. So anyway, that's enough about me. So what is a mortgage originator? That's what you guys are here for, right? So a mortgage originator is essentially the money guy or money girl in a home buying or refinancing scenario. So this position is a sales type position, but it's more about relationships. And it's going to require you to kind of hone your skills on mortgage products and programs, how to structure the best deal for your client. Essentially, you guys, what you're selling is money. And who doesn't like money, right? So the fact is, as an MLO, people need you guys. If they want to buy a home, they have to go through a mortgage loan originator. If they want to refinance and pay off some bills or add a room addition, they have to go through you. Right now, you guys, the market is extremely hot. It's been really hot for the last 10 years, and it doesn't look like it's going to slow down anytime soon. Better yet, with today's historical low rates, it continues to be an extremely hot market, making things, even more incredible for you. In fact, the mortgage market, you guys, is in the trillions of dollars. And what's even better is, as an MLO, you get paid on the money that you put out the door, right? But it's not your money. It's okay. So essentially, you guys, a mortgage originator connects with real estate agents, with builders, with other professionals, accountants, insurance agents, anybody in the home remodeling business, and a whole bunch of other people, right? To help their clients achieve their goals. So there's, what I'm saying is there's lots of really good referral sources for obtaining business. So much it'll blow your mind. And so what I wanted to go over today is I wanted to explain to you guys the different types of mortgage loan originators that are out there. So you guys can make a good decision. Number 1, do you want to become a mortgage loan originator? Number 2, what kind of mortgage loan originator do you want to be, right? So then I'll kind of explain to you guys how we get there from there. So the first type of mortgage loan originator out there in the marketplace is a bank mortgage originator. So let me explain. So this type of mortgage loan originator usually sits inside a branch. They work with customers of the branch who are looking to buy or refinance a home. This MLO, mortgage loan originator, is fed leads, okay, from the branch tellers. And they assist with the initial application and if necessary to get the process started to pay a home loan. Now, I'm not going to steer you wrong here. I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth is, I do not recommend this type of position for one very important reason. You're going to make way less money than you. My volume's messing up. See if I can change my mic. Is that any better on the microphone? Brian says my volume was a little jacked up. So, all right, let me go back to this then. So I don't recommend this bank mortgage loan originator position for one very important reason. Like I said, you're going to make way less money than you're worth. The bank pays the least amount of money on your production, which ironically, it's counterintuitive if you think about it to your goal of filling your personal bank account. In this case, most banks only pay about 40 to 60 basis points on each loan, which I'm going to explain what basis points are in more detail in just a second. So just bear with me for a second. So the second type of mortgage loan originator that's out there, you guys, is something known as a call center MLO. Now, this type of mortgage loan originator sits in a more than likely a large call center type environment. Usually these are really big companies and they're really good companies. Don't get me wrong. And you take a lot of inbound calls and maybe you make some outbound calls to either existing clients or new prospects who are shopping for a home loan. And this is a good way to make money as an MLO because here's the thing, the company markets for you and they've got this database of existing clients for you to help. Also, you guys, they always, and I mean always, have a great training program. Okay, they have a great training program. I'm not sure what happened to my screen. I'm viewing somebody else's screen. Jay, if you could shut your screen off, it probably says share screen. It probably says stop sharing screen. You see that button? Whoever's logged in is Jay. Here, actually, I think I can fix it. Okay, there we go. I think I fixed it. All right. So as the call center MLO, you guys, here's the thing. Usually a call center pays a good salary. They offer a bonus structure on your production. And for this type of position, one thing you need to know is that you have to obtain a license. But here's the thing, a license allows you to make a lot more money, right? So that's something that we'll talk about here in just a second. The third type of mortgage loan originator, you guys, is what I like to call a branch-based MLO. So this type of mortgage loan originator is kind of free to come and go as they please once they're comfortable with their product knowledge and their abilities as a mortgage loan originator. This MLO can set up referral relationships with real estate agents and other professionals. This MLO can work for a mortgage broker company or a mortgage lender, which I'll explain in more detail. This type of mortgage loan originator position has, well, hands down, it has the most freedom and it's not confined. Meaning, let me give you an example. So my youngest son, he's 14 and he's a baseball player and he plays for a travel team, right? He's really good. And, so if you've got a son like that who's into baseball or basketball or something, and you want to go to their game, if you work at like, the bank or something like that, you may not have that opportunity because you're supposed to be there for certain hours, right? But here's the thing. If you are a branch-based mortgage loan originator and you have that flexibility, then guess what? Go to the game. You can return your calls and, serve your clients when the game's over. That's the great thing about it, right? So And by the way, I'm curious, how many of you in this meeting have a friend, a relative, or a spouse who's a real estate agent or an accountant or a financial advisor or someone that's in the home improvement business, just to mention kind of a few professions, if you will. Hit me on the chat log on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. If you have anybody that's in those professions. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Brian, you still got me? Okay. All right. So, and Erica, so you have somebody, do you have somebody in your family or a friend or anything like that's a real estate agent or anything, kind of one of the professions that I mentioned? You have to hit me on the chat log, or I can turn your sound on here, actually. Yeah, so realtors. Okay, so those are the good ones. Those are the ones that you definitely want. But I'll tell you, a lot of those other ones are still good referral sources, and I'll explain in just a second because you, Erica, already have really, really good referral sources if that's the case. Now, let me explain to you guys real quick the difference between, I had mentioned you could work for a mortgage broker, or you could work for a mortgage lender, or you could work for the bank, which I don't recommend. The differences between a broker and a lender is that a mortgage broker arranges loans, which they aren't the direct lending source. So you're not the actual lender on the loan, and that's not a big deal. Whereas the lender has their own money, making you the direct lender to the client. So they both kind of have their advantages, you guys. But this particular position, it's got the biggest financial rewards. And even though all three of the types that I mentioned will pay you more, based on your production, you guys, this type of mortgage loan originator has virtually unlimited potential. And I'm not kidding you when I say this to you. I know mortgage loan originators who make over $500,000 a year. They're living a very good lifestyle. I'm telling you. But let me explain to you how the money works, meaning how it helps you. And then I'll get into the process for becoming a mortgage loan originator. So, as I stated earlier, you're selling money, right? So you're selling money to people who need it. And as I mentioned, it's a very rewarding career because essentially, you make dreams come true, especially when you help someone buy that first home. That's a real nice bonus there. So mortgage loan originators, you guys, you're paid on production. Although some companies pay a salary plus bonus, others pay more of a minimum wage type draw of some sorts, plus a bonus to help you get started. And then eventually, you kind of work your way up into bigger numbers. But here's the thing. Once you become a producer, once you've learned how to be a mortgage loan originator and you're in your position, you're starting to get your referral sources set together and you become a producer, which I'll show you exactly how to be one, you're going to make a very good living. And here's why. And I'm going to use another industry comparison, okay? So if you sell cars for a living right now, or if you have in the past, or you know somebody that has, when you sell a car, you get a commission on the price of that car. When you're providing home loans, which is what you would do as a mortgage loan originator, you're also getting paid in this manner when you close a loan. Here's the big difference, you guys. The difference is the sales price, okay? The difference is the sales price. All right. Okay. So the difference is the sales price, okay, and the dollars that follow. So here's what I mean, okay? And if you've got, calculator mode on your phone, you might want to jump on the calculator mode, or if you got a calculator close by, that's fine too. If not, I'll do the math for you. But I looked this up. Like the average price of a new car for 2019 was $37,185. Okay, so you're getting paid commission on these car sales, right? But the average home loan in 2019, you ready for this? $354,500. So you're talking about 10 times the amount of the average car price. And the great news, you guys, is that you're paid a percentage on every single dollar of that loan. So let me give you some examples here. Let's go back for a second. Let's look at the bank MLO as an example. if you worked at the bank, right, the average payout on a bank originated loan is only 50 basis points. Usually it's between 40 and 60. So we'll go 50. Now, basis points is just a fancy term that we use in the business that essentially means, if I said 50 basis points, put a decimal point in front of it, 0.50. If I said 100 basis points, it's 1.00, so 1%. So if you're using your calculator, right, you take the average of $354,500. That's the average loan, 354.5. Multiply it times 0.5%. That means you're going to get paid $1,772.50 on that loan, right? Well, kinda, right? But here's the thing. That's chump change, you guys. And here's the thing you need to know. The bank's likely going to have a minimum number of loans that you got to close per month before you hit bonus, which basically means you're not going to make near what you should be making. Not near. Now, what if you worked at the call center? The call center MLO, he's usually got a pretty comfy salary. And as a matter of fact, if any of you guys are on here from the Dallas area right now, we have a fantastic job opportunity for you guys in the Dallas area right now. We're actually running another webinar tomorrow, which I'll explain before we end this thing. So if anybody's out there in Dallas, you definitely want to be there tomorrow, because we actually have the hiring people that are going to be on the webinar explaining the position. And it's really awesome. But I'll come back to that in a second. So if you're a call center MLO, you usually got a comfy salary. You're going to be paid based on unit bonuses. And even though it's much better than the bank, you'll still have some limits with your income. But this isn't all that bad. I mean, after all, most of these types of companies have a great culture. They have great people. They have great training. They have great benefits. And you can still make a six-figure income working in a call center environment. So that's not a bad thing. So the last type that I was talking about, the licensed MLO who works more independently in a branch for a mortgage broker or lender. Well, I'm going to tell you this person, right? This person stands to make in the upwards of 100 to 125 basis points, sometimes even more on the production that they make. So that's 1 to 1.25% on every loan that they make. So again, considering also the fact you got this freedom, coupled with these huge payouts, this is a winner, right? It's in my mind, it's the true winner. For example, let's go through some math real quick. So if you close the same loan, right, that I told you earlier, like the average loan in the United States was 354.5, and yours may be different in your area, right? But at $354,500, if you made 1% or 1.25%, you're going to make $3,540 on one loan minimum, or if you're paid 1.25%, you'd make $4,431.25 on just one loan, you guys. One loan. You can do one loan with your eyes closed, right? So most mortgage loan originators close on average 3 to 5 transactions a month, but that's just the average, you guys. I actually had dinner the other day with a 24-year-old MLO who closed 11 transactions in January. In January, you guys, that's a slow month. So here's what I did today. You can even see that I'm wearing the same shirt. I called him today and I said, Jake, will you do me a favor? Can I interview you today for a couple minutes? He's like, sure. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Okay. So I want you to watch this real quick. And I'm going to pull this up and share my screen. I'm going to have to hit pause for a second here because I put it out there. And of course it's dragging. So let me go this other page and I'll do it from here. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys real quick. And I want you to see this. All right. Hopefully I can't see you guys, whether or not you guys can see this or not. So let me go here for a second. Uh-oh, what happened to my share screen? There we go, stop share. Hold on. I'm gonna move this. See if I can fix this because I couldn't see myself here. All right. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And Brian, I'm going to have you hit me on the chat log and let me know that you can see my screen because I can't see you guys at the moment. All right, so check this out. I recorded this today. You guys got to watch this. And also, Brian, tell me that you can hear it okay.
Darren Wilson, I'm the CEO of My Mortgage Trainer, and we are the nation's, I'd like to say, leading provider of pre-licensed education for those that are looking to enter into the mortgage industry. And, you know, one thing about me is I'm a firm believer of helping others improve their lives by entering this very rewarding business. But more importantly, I'm extremely in tune with making sure that I continue to nurture and support those very same people. And so today, I've got the pleasure of doing just a short interview here with my guest that you see here on camera. This is Jake. Jake is Jake Frecker. He's a whopping 24 years old. That's right. And he's a fairly newly licensed mortgage loan originator. And he actually attended our course to become an MLO. And he's just an all-around great guy. So Jake, how you doing today?
Man, not too bad, Aaron. I appreciate you having me on. You know, I think you're in Indiana, obviously, as well as I am. So we got about 3 inches of snow on the ground. So, you know, I've been better, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the snow's kind of a bummer, but we'll make it work, right?
Yep, so, that's right, man.
Could you tell us, you know, just like a little bit about your background, like just prior to becoming a mortgage loan originator?
Sure. So, graduated high school, and like most kids, you probably didn't have a clue what the heck you wanted to do. So I went to college and jumped into the student loan debt pool. But my dad's been in the business 25 years now as a mortgage loan originator. So yeah, I attended a local college. I was more of a commuter based, so I pretty much lived at home. But you know, my dad's office was on the way to my campus, so you know, I'd go there and do homework, and obviously just throughout me sitting in the office, I could kind of hear the lingo and kind of learned and caught on to what he was doing. So I said, you know what? I said, Bob, I need to make a little bit of money, man. What do you think about me helping you out? I'll be your office intern, running to get you the coffee and whatnot. So he obviously took me and ran. So yeah, I think I served as his kind of LOA, loan officer assistant, for a couple of years before I truly got licensed while I was finishing up college. But I was obviously in a unique scenario having my dad kind of there to hold my hand through it all.
For sure. You know, that's the thing about this industry is like, you know, every one of us that got in this industry, somebody took a chance on us, man. Somebody took a chance, you know, so that's what everybody needs, is just a chance. And so how long have you actually been an MLO, a licensed MLO?
It'll be 3 years next month. Yeah, 3 years in March. So I'll have had my license 3 years.
Okay. So then, all right, so you got almost 3 years in now. You've obviously seen your dad kind of work his way through the mortgage industry as well. But what's your impression of the industry overall?
You know, you create your own destiny, I guess, is the best way I'll put it. And you know, Aaron, we've obviously talked a few times here, and I love to throw this little plug in. Buddies of mine, my dad's made a good living in this business, so I had a blessed childhood growing up. I can't say I struggled for much. So you know, my buddies have seen that, and obviously I've gotten into the business, and I like to think I've done fairly well. So my buddies all kind of, hey Jake, what do I need to do? You know, I want to get into this. It's not easy, but nothing worth having is easy. But the thing that I tell anybody who's considering it, it's an aging industry. I mean, you know, I look and sit around, and I see guys like my dad. He just hit the hump. He just turned 50 a few months ago. So you know, people like my dad, they're the norm in this business. So they're all going to start retiring here and get their beach houses down south, and guess who's going to be left? You know, it's
right.
Little Jake Frecker, the little guy. You know, so and I think I'm the youngest MLO in our company, and we're a little bit smaller company, but this kind of gives you an idea. It's an aging industry, but the ability to create your own destiny and truly you know, basically set your own expectation, in my mind, is huge, and that's why I've stuck with it, because there's definitely some times where where you want to jump off a bridge, but there's times you're like, man, oh man, I wouldn't trade for the world. So.
Yeah, and that's probably with any industry, you know, whether you're plugging a piece into a part going down a conveyor belt or not, you know, it's like,
oh no, yeah.
Doing this. You know, it's funny you say that about the age thing, because the average age of an MLO right now is 54 years old on a national level. So you're absolutely right. Getting fresh people into this business right now to establish those relationships with each other is so important. So here's the thing, you know, many people who will end up seeing this interview between you and I, they're looking to start a career in the mortgage industry, right? So what they've got is probably the same questions you had coming in, you know, like what the big one is, like, what kind of money can I make, right?
Sure.
It's really, really a rewarding career. And I mean, because the thing is, like, I'm asking you this because people don't just want to take my word for it. I'm the instructor. Of course, you know,
sure.
I highly of my mortgage trainer and the fact that we can help these people. But I get also the benefit, I think, of seeing so many people grow in this business that, you know, as much as I like to say that, you know, you should just take my word for it, I think that for me, it'd be better for you to kind of explain your thoughts on that. So when we met up the other day, we had lunch, and, you know, you told me you had a pretty fantastic start to your year. So can you give me an idea of how many transactions you're closing per month?
Yeah, so
ramped up, like, you know, you started, you're almost on your third year. Like, what does it look like from the beginning, and where are you now? And, you know.
Sure. So I'll kind of start from March of 17, I guess it would have been, when I got my license. So I was finishing up college then, and so I didn't really, you know, I think I graduated in May, so I really didn't start originating much. You know, I had my license, but I didn't want to go out and start pounding the pavement until I really had a better grasp on what I was doing. So I think I closed my first loan in August of that year, and I think so. You know, in 4 months, I did basically 15 units, which I was pleased with. I mean, you know, again, I was tickled, man. You know, I was still just fresh out of college. I was okay with that. Last year, so really was my first, or it had been 18, I guess. So 18 was that year, then 19, so was my first full year in the business. I think I did 78 units last year and did $14 million in loan volume. And then starting out the year this year, I was actually second in our company. Not that that means anything, but I did 11 units for $2.1 million in loan volume. So the lucrative side of the business, obviously you want to do something you enjoy and love, but you also want to be able to keep the lights on. So yeah, I make one
in January.
Correct. Yep. What's supposed to be the slow time, I guess. So that was my best month ever, oddly enough. So awesome. I'll take it.
That's fantastic. So one of the things that we talk about when we do the intro to mortgage origination is, like, you know, again, how much you can make on a transaction. Can you confirm for me and for everybody else who's watching this, you know, based on 11 transactions, can you give the audience like an idea of what your basis point payout would be on a transaction?
Yep. So I make 1% of every loan I close, essentially. So, and you close a $200,000 loan, that's $2,000, right? So that's pretty typical from my experience. So, but again, you know, you look at it from a yearly basis. You got the ups and downs. You kind of gotta. It's not like you got a paycheck coming every month, but when it's good, it's good. When it's a little slow, you got that money rattled for the rainy day.
Right. And you know, Indiana, which is where you live, you know, our average loan size is not near as big. Like California's average loan size is like $424,000. It's ridiculous, right? You're literally making $4,000 to $6,000 per loan, which is crazy, right? But even in Indiana,
I need to move west.
Yeah, even in Indiana, and of course you can license in multiple states, you know, because
sure.
Once you pass an exam, you've passed every single state exam, so you can license in every state if you wanted to, as long as your company's licensed there. But still, you know, without giving up too much here, it's safe to say that you made a lot of money in January for $2.1 million in production. And I don't have to be a math whiz here to actually do the math in my head based on your percentage point here, but I'll bet you, well, you made a lot more money than most 24-year-olds did in January. You probably made more money in January than most 24-year-olds will make in 2020.
It might be close.
Yeah,
It
right.
might be close. Yeah, but I think that'd be safe to say.
Yeah. So can you can you just give us like an idea of what a typical day looks like for you? Like, how do you generate your business? What, if any, advice could you give to those that are thinking about entering the business? Like, if I'm just new, I'm like, well, what do you do? You know?
Yeah. So, and Aaron said it. What do you do to generate your business? Again, it's not. This is not a guaranteed paycheck job in a lot of cases. In some cases it is, but for the most part it's not. So, a typical day for me, I come in the office. I'm an early bird, so I get in early, and I like to get my stuff done before the phones start ringing, because the phones start ringing and it's easy to get scatterbrained. So I get in and get my stuff done before the phones start ringing. Work on applications maybe from the day before, that sort of thing. But the clock hits 9 o'clock, and then all of a sudden I got underwriters saying, "Oh, hey, we got a fire on this deal," so on and so forth. So again, that's kind of how my morning goes. What I try to allot time for in the afternoons, and Aaron, I'm sure you'll attest to this. It's easier said than done in this business to have a set schedule, but what I try to do is allot some sort of time. And again, it's hard to set a certain period, but every afternoon I try to sit and I call it prospect. How can I get more business? The majority of my business is all referral based. I shouldn't say majority, the vast majority is referral based. So referrals, who they come from. My top one's probably real estate agents. Real estate agents are my feeder source. So you kind of start there. How do you connect and get them to send you business, right? And the way I think about it is every realtor's probably got 20 of me coming to them with their hands out saying, "Feed me," right? So I try to sit and think about what can I do that's different to make me stand out, because for the most part, every MLO offers the same things. We all do the same kind of programs, and so nobody's going to have anything that knocks your socks off. So it really comes down to the relationship, right? And do they like you? Are you personable? You real? You going to treat them right and take care of them? I like to think that's why I've been able to maybe excel a little bit quicker in this business than some others, because I truly take pride in mending that relationship and making that realtor feel like they're my only agent I get business from. And obviously I built it on get multiple realtors, get 20 realtors who send you 2, 3, 4, 5 deals a month. That way you're spread out. But I like to try and do a good job of keeping everybody at the top of my list, if that makes sense. Make them feel like they're sitting on a throne. But outside of realtors, Aaron's got a great program, that Cheddar Stacks program, where you expand to multiple platforms, because just because you're a residential MLO doesn't mean you have to target realtors only. Financial planners and insurance agents, so on and so forth, family and friends. You can never know too many people in this business. And Aaron's Cheddar Stacks program really is it's a great concept, great platform, because it gets your face in front of people. And I can't stress that enough. If you take nothing else from this, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. I'm big on that. Yeah, I got an accepted purchase agreement in front of me today because the list agent knew me, knew I wasn't a complete wacko, and knew what I was doing. So again, never met that agent in my life. I've talked to him on the phone a couple times, but again, it's all about who knows you. So again, that's what my typical day looks like. That's how I try to go about my business. And again, there's never a bad contact, I guess. Never a bad way to network.
Relationships is definitely where it's at. And Jake, thanks for mentioning the Cheddar Stacks platform. That's something certainly that we give to all of our new people that are coming in, because that's the big thing. It's like, you're going into your third year, you've built these relationships. Like, as a brand new person, how do I hit the ground running? And the big thing is you got to build relationships. And so the Cheddar Stacks platform, of course, we put everybody into and teach them how to generate a referral-based business by targeting specific people in different industries, so that everybody that's in your group, if you will, locally, is not a mortgage loan originator, but certainly has referrals to be able to give to the mortgage loan originator, and vice versa. For example, if one of your people is an insurance agent, everybody needs car insurance, everybody needs homeowners insurance, everybody needs renter's insurance. And so he's getting all those referrals as well. So referral-based business is absolutely where it's at, because there's a lot less competition involved and salesmanship involved, because in most cases on a referral standpoint, that person that sent that person to you already has a relationship with the prospect, right? And so it makes it a heck of a lot easier, because it's like, like you need something painted in your house, and you ask somebody that you know and trust. You go to your best friend, you're like, hey man, do you know any good painters? And if your best friend says, dude, this guy's awesome, then you're going to use that guy. That's the whole point of it. So yeah, thanks for that. But yeah, I would definitely put everybody in the cheddar stacks at no charge, because that is very important, building those relationships. So
100%.
If there were like anything that you could say to those who are, because there's some people that are going to watch us, they're like going to be on the fence, right?
Sure.
I mean, as to whether or not the mortgage industry is really a good industry to make a successful career change to, or jump into as my first real career. Is there anything you could say to those people who are on the fence? And I know I'm putting you on the spot, but is there anything you could say to them, or what you would say to them from your own words?
Sure. No doubt about it. Again, I'm in a unique scenario with my dad, but my dad's kind of my mentor. So he's kind of put it in my head that you can really create your own destiny. I mean, it's sink or swim in the matter of fact that if you aren't out making these relationships, then you're not going to do very well. So it's not the easiest thing out there, but nothing is, if it's worth it. So my biggest thing is don't be hesitant to I always hear people are worried about commission based. Again, I'm big on nobody can tell me what I can and can't make, right? I'm gonna go get it, and I'm gonna hustle to make it happen. So that would be my biggest thing. I got my degree in sport management, and for the longest time I thought I was going to get into ticket sales for the Indiana Pacers or something. And it took me a month to sit at my pop's desk, just kind of hearing him talk and watching him sling deals. And I'm like, all right, yeah, this is something. The hustle. I keep saying hustle. The hustle excites me, and I really think it's a mindset. If you just get your mindset, hey, I'm going to get it, then you'll be successful. And the flexibility too. I mean, I don't have to be at my desk 8 hours a day, and that's a big reason why people do this. I've got a 1-year-old daughter and a wife at home, and my daughter's got a dentist appointment here this afternoon, her first dentist appointment that I want to go to. Where else can you do that? And you really don't have to clock in and clock out.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason that I like it, and why I think a lot of people take the jump.
You make a good point too, because one of the things that we talk about when we do this Intro to Mortgage Origination class is we talk about the different types of mortgage loan originators. And so you are what I would call like the branch-based MLO that has that flexibility, and we talk about that. And those people have flexibility, they have higher payouts. But you're right, a lot of it is, it's kind of a meet or beat scenario. Like you might make minimum wage, meet or beat against your actual production, right? You're going to get something, but in the end, that's the most rewarding. But for some people that are on here, that might not be a choice that they can make. And some of the employers that we connect them with are actually call center based. And in the call center based, of course, you're going to get a salary, and then you're going to get a bonus structure based on the number of units that you close. And those are great too. Those are great learning grounds for people that are coming into the industry. They have a lot of security for somebody coming in, because they've got a nice salary plus bonus. They're working for a big company in a call center that's probably got a lot of perks. So there's give and take in each one of those areas. So I don't want to scare anybody up that's watching. It's like, wait, this is all commission based? No, it's not necessarily all commission based. But the thing is like, if you can stomach going that route, maybe you've got a spouse that's already working and taking care of things, for the most part, and you're trying to start a career that can make you a lot of money, then sure, you want to go the branch route, because you're going to make the most money there. But if you're one of those people, it's like, well, I can't really make that type of a leap. I'd be more interested in finding something that's more call center based and volume based, and I'll learn the business and I'll jump out from there. That's certainly another avenue that you can go as well. But overall, there's just so many ways that you can originate business or get paid for this business. But I think you and I both agree it's one heck of a business as far as an amazing career. I mean, I didn't even go to college. You know, and I out-earned every single one of my college-bound friends my entire life. And this is how much college debt I have. And I still got a buddy of mine that just turned 50 and he's still paying student loan debt. That's ridiculous, right? You're talking about jumping in here for a maximum $349 for 20 hours to learn a career that's going to make you 6 figures a year and have zero student loan debt. Nah, man, you just can't beat it.
Sign me up.
Yeah, right? Awesome. Well, listen, Jake, I really, really, really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. I appreciate you sharing your story with everybody. And is there anything you want to say to the people before we?
No, you know, Aaron said it. It's worth it. I promise. If you can put your nose to the grindstone, it's worth it. I promise. So, Aaron, I think that's all I got, man. I greatly appreciate you having me on. It's been fun, man.
My pleasure, man. I appreciate it very much. I'll talk to you soon, Jake. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. So, you know, I had that opportunity, you know, again, to kind of talk to Jake today. And I thought, you know, what a cool thing to kind of bring into the mix, you know, and that way you're not just hearing it from me, you know, you actually got a real MLO and young, you know, 24 years old, and he's killing it. So I just thought it would be a good idea to kind of, you know, have him kind of tell his story a little bit. So in the end, you know, we're talking about, you know, when you do the math on this, so he closed 11 transactions 1 month, clearly 2.1 million, did 14 million last year. You can do the math. Even at his 1%, he made $140,000 last year, you know, at 23 years old, right? It's pretty incredible. So, but again, those are big numbers, you guys. Let's be honest. You know, I mean, if I told you at the beginning that the typical average close about 3 to 5 loans a month and an average of $354,000, and even at that 1% level, you're going to earn at least $10,635 a month, right? Or on the high end, if you're 1.25% and you close up to 5 loans, that's $22,156.25. I had that written down, by the way. I didn't do that in my head. And again, these are average numbers. You know, keep in mind that most companies have higher payouts when your loan volume reaches higher numbers. And I've even seen payouts as high as 2.5%, which is crazy. All right. Are there any questions before I jump into how you get this license and what it takes so we can get you guys out of here? If you have any questions, hit me on the chat log. I can turn your, I can actually turn your sound on, which I would actually prefer that you ask the question verbally because I'm sure somebody else will have the same question. All you have to do is just type in the chat log, just type me or something like that. Type me and I'll hit your mic for you, and then you can ask your question out loud. It's certainly one of you has a question, right? I can't be doing that good of a job that nobody has a question. Am I doing that good, really? Right? What? Okay, I'll keep going. So what are the qualifications then to get this license? You know, what does it take? Okay, so these are the things that you want to know. So the qualifications for getting a mortgage license, believe me, it's way more simple of a process than getting your financial advisor license, your medical license, your real estate license, you know, all these other high paying professions. Because, I mean, think about this. Some of these MLOs are making more than doctors. It's crazy, right? So here's what you got to know. You got to be able to pass a background check, you guys. So the background check is a criminal background check. So just criminal, right? They're going to look at this and say, if you ever had a felony conviction related to fraud, money laundering, breach of trust, embezzlement, think about it. Basically anything related to money, which is what you'd be dealing with, right? Money or fraud, you're not going to be able to qualify. If you had some other type of felony in the past and it didn't relate to those things, right? As long as it's older than 7 years old, then you're fine. You're in the clear, okay? The second thing is credit. Now, you do not have to have perfect credit, but since you're going to be dealing with other people and their credit and giving them advice, the licensing authorities believe that you should have what is known as financial responsibility yourself. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have like a 800 credit score. Matter of fact, there's only one state that I'm aware of that even has a credit score requirement. That's North Carolina. And I think their minimum score is 640. But the other ones, it's just like, don't have any open like tax liens and things like that. If you've got like a medical collection, who cares? Everybody's got medical collections, right? No sweat. So, and by the way, you can look at your credit ahead of time for free. If you go to freeannualcreditreport.com, freeannualcreditreport.com, you can pull all three of the repositories that have a credit report on you, and you can see what's on there. So if you need to clean anything up ahead of time, there you go. And that's free to you every single year. The last thing you got to do, you got to take a 20-hour pre-licensing class. You can take the class two different ways, right? And of course, we can assist you with that. There's two different ways you can take it. One is a 3-day webinar. And it's just like this, except for the only person on camera would be, well, Karina usually does that class, but one of my trainers. So it's a webinar like this. So it's live. You guys can ask questions. She'll push stuff to you. You'll see her screen. She'll do notes for you. It's really awesome. She runs it every other week. It goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The next one starts actually next Monday. But here's the thing you got to know. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern. It runs until 5:40 p.m. Eastern, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's 3 full days. So, and you got to commit to all 3 full days if you want to do a webinar. Now, some people can't do that. Erica, maybe you're working a job right now and you're like, I can't do that. I can't do a 3-day webinar. I mean, I want to learn the business, but I can't do a 3-day webinar. Do you have another option? We do. So the other option, you guys, is a 7-day online class. So the 7-day online option, basically you're free to log in, log out as your schedule allows throughout the day, but you got to put in about 2.5 hours a day. Even if you put in like a half an hour on your lunch hour, and then, maybe you get a 15-minute break later, you put in 15 more minutes, and you put in 15 more minutes later, and then you finished it up in the afternoon, or you got up early and put an hour in, another hour and a half later in the evening, that's fine too. It takes about 2.5 hours a day to do the 7-day class. The last thing you need to know, is you have to be able to pass an exam. There is a licensing exam. So just like you'd have to take a medical board exam, the bar exam to be a lawyer, real estate agents have exams. You have to take an exam. It's 125 questions. You got to score 75% or better. If you don't have a successful pass, you can retake it. But here's the thing. We're going to help you. We can help you by providing you with all the tools that you need to get a successful passing rate. Now, the test itself, we don't actually do the test, you guys, just so you're clear on this. The test is administered by a third party called Prometric. You got to schedule to take the exam when you're ready. The test does cost $110. It's not too expensive, In fact, you guys, the whole licensing process in and of itself is super cheap. So think about this. You can go to college for 5 years, rack up $120,000 in debt, come out and make $30,000 a year, right? Or you can do a 20-hour class, pass a test, and get a 6-figure job, right? So anyway, it's cheap. So here it is, right? So it's $297 for the 7-day online class, and $30 of that is actually a fee to the nationwide mortgage licensing system, which is a company we all have to pay to report your education. So it's really only $267 plus the $30 to the NMLS. That's the 7-day online class. So it's pretty inexpensive. The other option is live webinar, because we have a live instructor in front of you. We have to pay that instructor. That costs a little bit more money. It's $319 plus the $30 to the NMLS, so for a total of $349. And that's it. So you literally licensed in less than 30 days. I mean, so let's see, college debt, 5 years, 120 grand, 30 days or less, take a 20-hour class, boom, I'm making money. I think I know which one the winning plan is, right? So, all right. So are there any other questions I can answer here before I explain the rest of the information to you? Anybody got any questions? Brian, I just must be doing a bang up job, man. Nobody has questions. That's crazy. Maybe they'll have questions at the end. I don't know. Usually we get a lot more questions, but it's okay. Now, before you do anything else, let me tell you what we're going to do for you should you decide that you want to be a mortgage loan originator. First of all, we're going to provide you with every possible strategy. Okay. freeannualcreditreport.com. So you'll have to give me your information, and then you'll get that for free. Okay. So the background check, what will happen is the background check will actually be done more than likely by the employer that we connect you with, which I'll explain in just a second. Thank you guys. Those are good questions. I'm going to come back to that. We're going to provide you guys with every possible strategy, condensed study guide, test outline hack video, flashcards, our Test Prep Plus test package to make sure you are absolutely prepared to take this exam. If you take the course and you're like, Aaron, I don't feel like I'm ready. Fine. You know what? Let's put you back in a refresher course because I want you to be ready. I want you to pass this thing the first time. I'm literally going to give you $300+ worth of additional study material for free. And if you want to retake the class for free, okay? Second thing we're going to do, and this is something Jake mentioned to you guys earlier, we're going to make sure everyone who is interested in this, who wants to become a mortgage loan originator, that you have access to the CheddarStacks platform. CheddarStacks is awesome, right? It's a mobile-based mortgage originator referral network platform, and all the training, all the support that you need, everything is included. It's free to you guys. As soon as you are a client of ours, boom, we get you in there. We show you how to build a referral network, and you get referral business. Like Jake said, all his business comes from referrals. Those are the best types of ways to generate business. So in other words, here's the old adage, right? We're not going to give you a fish and feed you for a day. It's not going to go that way. We're going to teach you how to fish, and we're going to feed you for a lifetime. You've heard that adage before. We like that one. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to provide you with employer introductions to our mortgage clients. Here's the good news, you guys. I literally know thousands of mortgage owners of companies across the entire United States. So I will bet you, no matter where you're at right now, I know somebody that is hiring that I can introduce you to, and we do not charge you for that because it benefits us and makes us look good too. We get to go, hey, let me introduce Erica to you, right? Boom. So a nice, easy connection for you, right? I know a lot of influential people in this business, and I can connect you with them. So that being said, let me tell you what they're looking for. Okay. If we end up setting you guys up with an interview, so here's what you need to know, right? If we end up setting you guys up with an interview, especially if you guys are in the Dallas area, you need to attend this meeting tomorrow with us because this is going to be really important. Here's what they're looking for. You saw Jake, right? He's got a good upbeat attitude. He says, you got to have some drive, you got to put some effort into it. They're looking for someone with a little bit of drive, someone with a real desire to improve not only their own lives, but other people's lives. Someone who's going to stick to the plan and consistently go out there and try to build relationships with other clients, with other referral sources. So when I get you an interview, you need to go in there dressed for success, even if their culture is not quite that way. You notice Jake was in like an IMG sweatshirt and jeans. That's their culture. That's fine. But the day you show up, you don't show up in jeans and a Metallica t-shirt. Deal? Right? That's not the way we do it. Go in there dressed up, dress for success, no matter what their culture is. Even if they tell you, well, we kind of dress down, well, wear a sport coat then and don't wear a tie, but go in there dressed for success. Be punctual. Tell them you're excited about the opportunity. You're eager to be one of their top earners. These are the things that they want to hear. They love that kind of attitude. Be upbeat, be positive. Tell them about any extra activities that you participate that you're really passionate about because they love passionate people. These are all really good tips, you guys, for nailing, the best fit for you. In the end, we're going to be here for you. In fact, you'll even have direct access to me. I'm actually the CEO of my mortgage trainer. You'll have direct access to Brian, who's on here right now. He's actually going to be your main point of contact, right? So beyond this, we're going to be available to you because you might have some additional questions that we can answer for you before you decide that you're just going to jump into the mortgage industry. I get it. We don't expect you guys. There's no hard close tonight, by the way. We're not going to get to the end of this thing and say, Erica, get your credit card out and read off the numbers. We're not going to do that to you. That's not what we're doing, right? But the thing is, like, we're going to support you. You know, I'm going to support you. My trainers are going to support you. My support staff's going to support you if you decided to take this path and beyond. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that you're comfortable with your knowledge and your preparation. And I promise you this, we will not abandon you. Okay. So, you know, you ever heard of something just sounded too good to be true? Right? Well, guess what? That's not what this is. It's a real opportunity, guys, that pays really, really well if you put in the effort and build the key relationships. There's no catch. You just enroll in the class and we help you do the rest. So, you know, and then next thing you know, you're closing 5 loans a month, making $22,000, right? We give you all the tools you need to pass the exam, introduce you to a future employer, boom, you're in. It just doesn't get any better than that. So, all right. So one more thing I'd like to show you, because I'm below your mind here, actually, because I was only showing you guys like average number production, but I'm going to show you guys something. I'm gonna pop this screen real quick. And I'm going to share this with you because this is incredible. Let's see, share screen. Share screen. All right. So this, you guys, is the Scotsman Guide. It's a very well-respected publication company in the mortgage industry. And these are the top ranking MLOs last year for volume. Look at this. This guy closed $536 million in production. $536 million. You see these guys, 536 million, 500 million, 300 million, 200 million. I mean, we're talking about some crazy, crazy numbers here, you guys. Those guys made a lot of money, a lot of money. So again, I mean, depending on, what the payout is on this, I'm telling you right now, that guy, $536 million, he probably got a 2.5% payout on that. That means he made, every bit of $1.3 million. $1.3 million. Fact is, there are many MLOs that make more money than highly skilled doctors. And it's just crazy. All right. So how do you sign up if you want to sign up? All right. So again, there's no hard close on this. We're not going to ask you to sign up right now or anything like that. So just hang in there with me. But I'm going to give you a link to Brian's page. Brian, unless you have the page available, maybe you could put the link up and I'll go to the page. So let me, let's see. Why did it do that to me? All right. So, sorry. Okay. So share my screen here. So here is Brian's page, right? And so he's going to put that in the chat log for you as well. And if you need to reach out to him, you can contact him here. It'll reach him. He's going to give you his email address here in the chat log as well. So if you wanted to get your license, right? So there's a button right here. It says, I'm looking to get licensed as a mortgage originator. So click on that. It's going to take you to the 2 course options. One is the 3-day webinar. One is the 7-day online. If you want to rewatch Jake's interview, I actually put it on that page for you. So if you decide that, I think I want to do the webinar, you just click on the webinar. There's a little video for me on there, how a webinar works. And then these are the available webinar dates. So it's really, really super simple. If a webinar doesn't work for you and you'd rather do a 7-day class, you click on that. We run the 7-day class every Tuesday to Tuesday. So all those, again, same type of thing, right? So all those will show on there. So Brian's given you his email address. He's given you his page. If you have any extra questions, he's your main point of contact for this to get you guys started. And again, I want to reiterate, if any of you guys are in Texas, actually, let me ask you, is any of you guys in Dallas? Anybody that's on here in the Dallas, Texas area? Paulette, you are? Okay. So Paulette, tomorrow, same time, okay. So Paulette, Shanna, sorry, Erica, tomorrow, we actually have a company called Mr. Cooper, who is in Dallas, and their actual hiring managers are going to be on a webinar with us, and they're going to be talking about their position. That one pays a $50,000 base salary plus bonus, plus fantastic benefits, and they are hiring right now, and they're using us to find good qualified candidates, get them through the test so they can hire you. And they will actually be on a webinar with us tomorrow at 7 o'clock. So make sure you reach out to Brian. Well, we'll get you through, Erica, I promise you. We have plenty of people that have used, other people, or maybe just, just a different process, or sometimes people use us and don't have success. But that doesn't mean that we can't get you through. We will get you through, right? We know a lot about the structure of the exam, and so we're going to help you with all the materials that you need. But anyway, for those of you guys that are in Dallas, you need to reach out to Brian and make sure you're on that webinar tomorrow, because you will actually be able to hear directly from the hiring managers about the company, about the pay, about the structure, about the bonuses, and it's going to be awesome. So I'll probably attend tomorrow too, just to do the introduction, but they're mostly going to run it themselves. So if you're out there, for sure, take part in that. Is anybody on here from the Fort Wayne, Indiana area? Anyone on here from Fort Wayne, Indiana area? Because I also have another call center based employer out there that is looking as well. And it's a salary plus commission plus bonus, all that fun stuff. Okay. So, all right. So let me see. Some of you guys had questions. Let me see if I can go back to these questions before I end this thing. All right. Do we pay for the background check and credit check? So usually the background check, usually the way we work it, you guys, is if you can get through the exam, then the employer in most cases is going to handle taking care of the rest of it. Because all we really tell them is, look, this person has gone out of their way to take the class on their own. They've signed up for the test. They've passed the exam. So our deal with them is you go through the rest of the process. As long as you guys can tell us, hey, listen, Aaron, I'm not a convicted felon, no worries there, because if you do have a felony, you know this, and we already give you the heads up, then why would you ever go through that process, right? So, they'll help you with that process as far as getting licensed and all that. That's kind of the deal that we have with everybody. So don't worry about that piece. Let's see. I don't think there was any other. Does anybody else have any other questions I can answer for you before I let you guys go? And like I said, I can turn mics on, or you can turn your own mic on. I think you can turn your own mic on. Actually, let me hit unmute for a second. That was a bad idea. Does anybody else have any other questions that I could turn your personal mic on? There's always feedback back there. Yeah, I know, right? That was awesome. All right. So listen, I want to personally thank you guys for your time. We really do look forward to helping you guys through this process. In fact, if you know actually anybody else that would benefit from this, feel free to have them reach out to Brian. And like I said, also, we run this class every single Wednesday. So if you know somebody else that might be interested in coming in, or if you got in this class, maybe you came in a little bit late, you're like, man, I didn't hear the front of this or whatever. Okay. The company's called Mr. Cooper. Isn't that a wild name for a mortgage company? But it's really cool. They've got a really, really neat culture at Mr. Cooper. So yeah, so if you're in the Dallas area, you'll definitely want to be, well, we can connect you with them. So we have a direct connect with them. So if you guys are in the Dallas area, you definitely want to be at the, they used to be Nation Star. Yeah. So again, I want to personally thank you guys. If you know anybody else that could benefit from learning maybe a little bit about the mortgage industry, if you know anybody else that might be interested in looking at becoming a mortgage originator, again, reach out to Brian. But we run this webinar every single week on Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. And so, you know, you can sign up for it, but you got to like just reach out to Brian or, you know, reach out to me, right? And you always, you know, obviously you can call Brian anytime you want. Brian, if you want to put your phone number on there, that's fine too. If you guys have any additional questions, we can help you through the process. You know, and I look forward to hearing about your guys' success. I really do. You know, I wish you guys all the best, right? I really do. And if there's anything that we can do for you at My Mortgage Trainer, anybody we can introduce you to or help you get this license going or answer any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. All right. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, we're going to go ahead and end this bad boy. Thanks again for your time. And feel free to reach out to Brian and we'll continue this process from there. You're very welcome. Have a great evening, everyone. Look forward to seeing you in a future class, hopefully. All right. Take care. Bye.